Greetings and welcome to Monster Legends, and another special feeding episode. This time I'm going to be feeding a fellow that I picked up at the recent spring breeding event. I got lucky, got who I wanted, and this is Tankerion. And unfortunately he has one lock ruin slot, but we're not going to hold that against him. Alright, he sits in one book, he is mechanical, of course he's mechanical, and he has a very, very useful trait. We'll talk about that once we're feeding him up though. So we need to find a temporary home for him. Yeah, it's as good a place as any. Okay, that's a really interesting special skill. I can't wait to see what it does. Alright, so where is the little guy down there? Okay, this is Fernando. No, this is not Fernando. We have a Fernando already. We'll get you another name, won't we? So, this is Tankerion. He is a legendary. He is metal. Now, the big thing about him, of course, is his trait. He is an artifact, which means he is immune to all status effects. That's positive and negative. Now, the big part about that means is you cannot stop him unless, one, you take his stamina away, or two, you activate his cooldowns. You cannot stun him, you cannot freeze him, you cannot possess him, you cannot do any torture effects to him or anything like that, which makes him kind of useful considering apparently he can actually do other stuff too. Alright, so let's look at some other stuff here. Let's look at some skills. Alright, so his strength is okay. His life is very good. I mean, he is a tank though, right? He's a tank. That's what he's supposed to do. Speed isn't so good, but then again, look at him. He's not very dexterous, is he? That's kind of the thing. He's going to be tanky. He might hit a little bit hard, do a little bit bad things to the other side. But, yeah, not a speedster. Not a speedster. All right, so let's look at some skills. All right, we're starting with Tank U. Deals low physical damage. And then we got Gadget Punch. Deals moderate metal damage. That's actually decent damage there for a initial skill. And, of course, that special skill, Tank Former. Deals insane metal damage to all enemies, 50% chance of killing all enemies instantly. I'm guessing each individual gets a 50% chance. It'd be kind of weird if it was a 50% chance for everybody. But hey, that sounds like a real game changer right there. Not too bad at all. Tankerion is one of the first war machines ever created. You could say it is the archetype for the modern tanks. It is extremely resistant and it looks like a bunker. Because of this, the enemy team doesn't expect it to attack, so when it does hit, chaos. Okay, so that's kind of interesting there. First of the tanks. Alright, I guess we have to start feeding him though. I'm guessing tomatoes will do the job. Alright, so let's get him up to, okay, his second evolution. He has 2 evolutions. It's amazing. The old days have returned. Alright, so let's get him up to level 7 because we need to start getting skills going here. And apparently he does like tomatoes. Tyson deals moderate metal damage, 50% chance of dazing target. Okay, he's going to be doing some dazing. Alright, so let's continue to level 10. Induction Soldering. Heals target by 30%, heals itself by 30%. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know he did that. Okay, a higher version of that would be awesome. I'm thinking maybe complete heal. That'd be kind of good. And very balanced, too. So let's continue to level 15. 35 tons per inch. Deals moderate metal damage, 50% chance of stunning. All right, well, you know, we'll put that there because it's better. Okay, stunning would be good. Stunning is a good thing. So let's continue to level 20. 45 tons per inch. Okay, so deals moderate metal damage, may stun. Obviously an upgrade, so we're going to take that. Okay, single target stun, moderate damage. Actually, moderate, it's like right on the border there to high. So, although this was back in the times when the gauges maybe weren't so accurate. So, we'll have to see when we actually start testing with him, right? All right, so let's continue to level 25 in his final form. Knock Nivis. Deals heavy metal damage, may daze target. Well, obviously it's an upgrade of that one. Okay, well, it's a heavy metal hit. And there he is, his final form. He was an early model of tank, just saying. Alright, so let's continue to level 30. And another skill. Fiber focus soldering. Heals target by 50%. May give precision to ally. Heals itself by 30%. Wow, that's a long cooldown. I mean, that's pretty good right there, you know? I mean, in an emergency, he can actually do that. But what if he targets himself? Well, I'm going to take it. It's good for an emergency situation type of thing. If you can heal somebody by half, that's pretty nice. But I am interested. What if he targets himself? Does he get the 50% and then the 30%? I can't wait to test that. All right, let's continue to level 35. Bagger 288. Deals very heavy metal damage. May daze target. May apply damage reduction to target. All right, well, it seems like it's an upgrade of that. I think I'm going to hold on to that one for a while. I'm going to put that there, and then we're going to see what happens in the end. All right, so let's continue. I may end up rearranging things, but for now. Active soldering. Heals target by 100%, removes all negative status effects, heals itself by 30%. Wow, that is a very long cooldown, but that's like... Man, that's interesting right there. He could just like, boom, you're healed. And all negative status effects are off of you. How many times are you going to do that during a fight? I'm looking at the fiber focus soldering. It's a 4-round cooldown. How often are you going to do that in a fight? 50% may not do the job too. So I'm just thinking if you had him with somebody like Dunra or something like that, where he could just, boom, you're completely healed and stuff like that. Or Carel Brutalis, you know, who's always going to be taunting. That would be very interesting. It's interesting that I'm thinking of Tankerion now as support. But this is pretty good. You kind of have to take it if for no other reason, like once again, I want to test it. I mean, is it smart enough to know that clearly he shouldn't be able to heal himself for 100% with this skill? That should be interesting. All right, let's continue. Probably like only one more skill left. Okay, that's just a repeat. Yeah, the reason I put that one on the front is I really doubt that he gets anything that's group targeting, because that would probably be extremely overpowered considering how difficult he is to handle himself, right? And 55 tons per inch. Deals heavy metal damage, may apply mega stun. All right, I didn't expect to see that one. All right, now I have a issue here with cooldowns, don't I? All right, that one, it's really hard to get rid of that one. It's a 1-round cooldown. I mean, that one is a 6. That one is that one's a 2. That's not so bad, actually. If I was to put the 55 tons per inch here, that would make sense because it would be kind of his best skills, except well, I mean, this one is a 2-round cooldown. That's not so bad. I mean, if he gets his cooldowns activated, he's in a lot of trouble. But of course, again, he himself can't have effects or torture effects on him or anything like that, so that's not so bad. I'm going to take that for now. I may change my mind later, but I think for the moment, it's probably best that he have his best stuff. And it's really hard to say no to a mega stun, you know? It is. And the first one, even though it's just daze and damage reduction, it's only a 25% damage reduction. It's still, I believe, his hardest hit. Yeah, it is. It's his hardest hit. And I do believe that is probably all the new skills that we had. We'll probably just get that soldering one again, right? Yep. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Because that's probably sitting at the top. And then that one. All right, quick look. I pretty much got an idea that we've seen. Okay, we got that one. We got that one. Right. Okay, so we got all the good ones. All right, let's take a quick look over here. I mean, his strength isn't bad, but again, he's not a damage dealer. Do you want to consider putting strength on him? Well, we'll think about that. His life is very good, but then again, that's what he does. Tanking is in the name, right? Yeah, his speed, nothing to write home about there. I mean, he's not too fast at all. He's probably a speedster next to the Worker Hulk, but yeah, that's a very low bar that I'm setting right there. You would definitely want to play off on his life. Maybe put 1 damage on him because he does have some hard hits, but it really depends. I mean, if you're just going to say, okay, he's a tank, of course, the one thing about calling him a tank is that he doesn't have any tanking effects, because he can't have any tanking effects because he's an artifact. So, I mean, you probably want to actually play off on his strength a little bit there, because no one's going to hit him. They're going to take everybody else out unless he's actually doing some stuff, right? Okay, so I tell you what, why don't we look at his skills? These are the skills that I selected, and then we'll figure out what we're going to do with him. All right, this is the first one that I selected. This is Bagger 288. Deals very heavy metal damage, may daze target, may apply damage reduction to target. All right, now, damage reduction and daze separately aren't too great. You throw them together with his hardest hit, and they're not so bad then, because this is his hardest hit. He does have a little bit of an issue with cooldowns, but this is a good hit, and considering his speed, you got to wonder how many times he's going to attack in an actual fight. So this wouldn't be the first one I would reach for. Then we have this one. We have 45 tons per inch. Deals moderate metal damage, may stun target. All right, this is his lowest cooldown of the ones that I selected. It's moderate metal damage, but it's kind of on the borderline for high according to the gauge. Is the gauge right? I don't really know. We're going to have to test with that, right? But it is a stun, and it's a 2-round cooldown. So stuns are always a good thing. Get a little bit of control going on there. He's got some of that, you know. He's got some control. He's got some support, too. We're going to get to that, the last one, right? Okay, and then we have this one, 55 tons per inch. Deals heavy metal damage, may apply Mega Stun to target. All right, a Mega Stun, of course, is a 2-round stun. It doesn't work on somebody who's immune to stun or has any kind of trait that makes them immune to stun or a buff that makes them immune to stun. But if it lays it down, then the individual is going to be out for 2 rounds. Very, very useful. It is very costly, though, in terms of the stamina and the cooldown. It is very useful, but you're not going to be doing it very often. Probably once per battle, just saying, because the thing about it is because of his speed, he's not going to be doing stuff very often. All right, and the last one, we have a very interesting one, something I wasn't actually thinking was going to happen. We have a little bit of a support thing going here. He had a chain of these, and I just basically chose the last one, even though it has an enormous cooldown, because like I said, he's slow. How many of these skills is he actually going to do in a fight? Right, so I mean, I figure I'm pretty much safe with the cooldown of 6, because the previous one was a cooldown of 4, but I mean, he's probably only going to get a chance to do them once anyway, right? Anyway, this is active soldering. Heals target by 100% and removes all negative status effects. Heals itself by 30%. So we had a whole chain going on. There was a 30% for them, 30% for him. There was a 50% for his teammate, and then adds precision, and then gives him 30%. This one is a complete heal and removes negative status effects. That could be very useful in a situation, right? Very useful indeed. Now, I gotta believe that it won't work on him. It could very well be that they've made it so that it is a status effect. You know, in other words, the first part of this is actually a status effect, so it won't work on him. That would be very interesting to test, and I am going to test that. So I think I'm pretty much safe going with the big one here, because like I said, the previous one was 50% and the precision, and when it was a 4-round cooldown. 4-round cooldown, he's probably not going to get that off twice in a fight anyway, so I might as well just go with the big one, right? In terms of this guy, obviously you want to play off on his life. You want to make him hard to kill, right? Even though he's not really technically going to be tanking, because there's no reason for the other side to be attacking him first. He can do stuns, but he can only do single target stuns, so he's not a huge danger. I think the biggest danger he has in terms of facing him on the battlefield, other than the mega stun, is the fact that he can just utterly, completely heal one of his teammates. That might be a reason for wanting to get rid of him. In this case, I would say I definitely want to play a little bit off on his strength in terms of the hits, because he does have some good ones here. This one here, very heavy. This one is moderate. This one is heavy. So I would probably put 1 strength on him and then 2 big lives. There is a possibility you might want to say throw, instead of a damage though, maybe throw a support on him. Maybe a support speed, maybe a support strength, maybe a support health, to help boost the health of everybody else in the party. It really depends. Like I said, he's got a good health. If you put health on him, you're certainly going to boost it up a bit. But they're not going to attack him first because, again, he's not going to taunt or anything like that. So it's a matter of just keeping him alive so that maybe he can do a heal on somebody else or just get the mega stun and the regular stuns off and just do some damage. He's not going to group attack because that's not what he's got. So anyway, he's actually not so bad. I can't wait to start using him in fights. I would think he would be very, very useful because these guys are kind of annoying because you can't do anything about them, especially if he's got a lot of life. See, if you have somebody like one of the mountains and they have a lot of life on them, you just put some torture effects on them, and the torture effects will always do a percentage of health. So it's kind of easy if you have like players on your side who can do that to take something down that's got a lot of health. But this guy, it isn't going to work because you can't put a torture effect on him because you can't put any status effect on him. So you have to do it with raw damage. And you can't even debuff him too for the same reason. So if you have a lot of health on him, he's going to be hard to kill. And if he's hard to kill, remember, he can always just do a 100% heal on somebody else on his own team. So he could be very annoying. I think that he will definitely be useful to me. I think especially in war situations. I just kind of wish he was in more books. Since he's only mechanical and metal, those are the only two times I can actually use him for war qualifications. Anyway, this is Tankerion. He's pretty darn good, and he's kind of unique too, because of course he's an artifact, and I can't wait to start testing with him. He will not be in the next testing video, because that one is pretty much set with elite characters, right? As soon as I get another one, probably later today, out. But he will be probably in the one after that, and it'll be quite interesting to see how he works. I'd like to very much test that last skill. So anyway, thank you very much for your attention. I really appreciate it. And play games because games are fun. See ya.